Hello folks, and welcome to another long-awaited episode of Sunless Minecraft. I'm back for a while, and I thought that maybe we could talk about the things I accomplished while I was resting from sharing my story with you all. Specifically, I got this quarry working, this really big quarry. As you can see, it was big, and it filled up this system here, this heat exchanger system. It went through and did exactly what it was supposed to do, and turned lava and water into lots and lots of obsidian, and lots of power to power the quarry, which in turn netted many resources. We'll be tearing this down just a little bit because we're going to be needing the components of it soon. It's just a temporary structure anyways. But we have got some plans in place, and there's some other work that I've done that I thought I would just share really quick. Specifically, for one, you can see I've got a lot more resources. That quarry run was extremely helpful, and I've got some other stuff too. You know, more diamonds, more things like that. Let's see, if we head over this way, we can step down through this door, and this area down here that I was hollowing out has become sort of an area for some passive resource gathering, specifically the glowing reed and blazing cactoid, which can be turned into blaze rods and glowstone passively. A less cramped area to have my witch's cauldron with a pretty powerful altar. Not bad, right? It's interesting. It kind of comes and goes, right? And yeah, so, you know, we've got a pretty nice area, and I've also been working on some new things because we've got some new technologies available to us that I thought would be really fun to exploit today. Specifically, I have built this coke oven, and this coke oven, maybe we should just go grab a little bit so we could demonstrate, because it does help. The coke oven is basically a way to take, as far as I understand the process, we remove a lot of impurities from standard coal. Or we could do it from, well, really anything, but let's just do standard coal for now. And we have a fair amount of standard coal. Let's just grab, it's a fair amount of coal coke down there. But with this, we'll be able to actually improve fuel. And in fact, now we have a very concentrated fuel source. One of the most concentrated I've seen so far. We go ahead and put this in here, right? And then you can see that it begins to cook, very quickly cook that. And it also produces cans of creosote oil. And I've just been fashioning those cans out of, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, just tin for the most part. So we have an awful lot of those. But now we also have 5 stacks of coal coke, and some more should be coming out soon. But we have a fair amount of very dense energy as well, which is, I think, fantastic, really. So we should be using this. Particularly, we've got this great fuel, and we've got this great coal coke. I think it's time to use this. So let's go up and grab some books out of our library and see what we're going to do. Because I think that, let's take a look at the wall first, right? Because I wrote down, just kind of sketching out, thinking about it out loud with myself, what we should be doing. And there's tons of stuff here. For example, we need a safe place for the coffin. I know that my coffin location has been discovered. We need power and blood, better ore processing, storage system, working signs, a power plant. I think this one, food farm, although I'll tell you why. A power plant, a dimension of eternal darkness and thunder, a safer place for the coffin. All these things connect together. But there's one other thing I've been experimenting with. If I come over here, you'll see this altar. This altar is full of my blood. Now, it's been really challenging to work with this, I'll be honest, because, let's see if I can find it. Where did it go? Ah, it's in my pack, of course. So I take a look in here, right, and I pull out this knife. This knife allows me to let some of my blood into this altar for magical purposes. It's a very interesting practice, particularly for me. However, and this is the frustrating part, if I were alive, my body would be constantly regenerating blood, and so cutting this would hurt me. But it doesn't. Instead, I just let out a little bit of my blood. In this case, I wasted it because the altar's full. It just runs down the side. Fortunately, the carpet's red. It's fine. But the power of the altar keeps the blood fresh, but obviously I have to go then and feed to recover things. So this, you know, system gives you all sorts of interesting ways to use blood as a power source unto itself, but I constantly have to feed. So I looked around a whole bunch for different ways that I could actually improve that outcome. So like, let me show you an example of how we use this. A good example, something that actually would be really worthwhile to do, is to make some blood runes. Now these runes are basically made by steeping cooked stone and blood. And when I do this, right, it takes a little while, and then they'll become a rune. And it will pop out and be usable. So let me just go ahead and clear this here, and we'll take a sec. There we go. And boom, I have a rune. And now if I use this divination sigil, I can see, it shows the rune in there, by the way, but that's just, it takes a little while to update. You can see I've used 1,000 of the 10,000 LP that was in there. And I put another one in, and it'll use another one. Like so. Now, that's fantastic. But then to refill it, I have to go ahead and spill my blood. So I've actually figured out a different way. If we take a look at my armor, for one, I can wear now my armor, but then actually have my other armor as the actual effect. This is called cosmetic armor. Really, really nice for, you know, looking pretty swish while still being practical. I made a bloodletters pack. A bloodletters pack is just glass, buckets, flint, leather tunic, one of those blank slates I just made, right? And that basically makes this thing. Now, if I were to go ahead and right-click this, it would fill it up from the bloodletters pack, which has got that 8,000. Now, I noticed something. Oof, ow. Certain types of magic, directly letting my blood into there, I have to just give my blood supply away. However, other types of magic using blood magic materials can generate this vitae from life force itself. So while the dagger itself cannot, if I were to go in here and pull out this weak blood orb, using this actually does use my life. Now, while this still does gradually cause blood to refill my hunger, I will have to feed. The conversion rate between blood and there is actually quite favorable. I think it's still better overall than if I were immortal, but, you know, it's just one of those things where it's a little bit easier. So why don't we go ahead and, we should probably automate this real quick because I would like to make a whole bunch of them, because the next goal with this, after we fill this up, is to make a altar. So we need to make a tier 2 altar. So we need blood runes, right? A blood rune, right? So for this, we need to make 2 blank slates and a bunch of cooked stone. So we're going to need, we need, I guess, 8 blood runes to upgrade our altar once. So we might as well start with that. We'll need 8 of those. So we'll need 16 blank slates, and we have 2 so far. I think we got another group in there. So, okay, that should be pretty doable. We need 16. We only need, I guess, 7 more. So if we could just grab a, let me think about how we're going to do this. All right, well, we don't need to get too fancy for the moment, because we're just going to go ahead and make a bunch of blood runes and break this down. So we want to go ahead and let's make 10 blood runes, because we have let's just totally drain the altar into blood runes. 9, 10. And we should be able to, with a hopper, just get everything in there at once. I think that will be the right way. And the more we put in, the faster it goes. So that's probably for the best. We'll completely drain that. Now, it hasn't been lost on me that this is a piece of armor. So I have actually gone through, and because they're really inexpensive to make, obviously they're glass, flint, and one of these runes that once you make a few, they're pretty straightforward. So I made a bunch of them. I just filled them up. I just stood there taking the pain. Really wasn't that bad, to be honest. My body is fantastically durable at this point, so I'm not so concerned. So, you know, we're doing more and increasingly interesting things with that. And yeah, so now you can see we've got the whole stack in there, and that will cook up in its own time, and then we'll probably move it downstairs. Now, you also may have noticed I've got a lot of full mana tablets. I completely, well, not completely, but I drained 3 of these pools into those tablets. It actually takes quite a bit, and now I'm letting it refill once again, and then we'll probably move this system downstairs as well. I've also been going through and making a larger push at getting a lot more flowers, because we're probably going to be embracing Botania more soon. So we go like brrr, with this Horn of the Wild, brrr, and you know, we just take care of these flowers, right? Yes, we go burp, 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 like that. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's super useful. Toss you back in there, friend. So I think that maybe the next thing we're going to do, see, so we got that cooking up. We'll need these to make the tier 2 blood altar, and we're almost done with that. We'll come back to that in a little bit. Why don't we think about this power plant situation next? So let me grab some sticks and some wood. Maybe we need to go out and get some more wood, but I think this birch wood will do us fine for now, this much. And let's just drop this stuff off right here. We can just leave those things there for now. Oh, look, it all converted. Cool. We'll just leave you in there for now. That should be enough to do what we want to do. But let's think about maybe what we're going to do for a power plant. Now, you may have noticed in here, I've got another, like so, this engineer's manual. So this is another, you know, we said we would get back to something more electrical eventually. And I think this is what we're going to do. So there's several interesting things that we can do with this creosote oil. One of the most important things we can do is we can go ahead and treat wood. This wood has several applications, from rails to planks. So just in general, it's a much stronger wood, and it has a nice rich color, which I kind of like. You know, it's got these little wooden things here. So I think that that's probably the way we're going to go about doing this, because it should be straightforward. We do need to get a couple furnaces down here, because it's sort of increasingly... Well, we'll be fine for now. Let's just go ahead and get this. But what I think we're going to do to make some power is, what we're going to do is go here, and let's look at some passive power, and then we'll also wire up the generator we use for the quarry. So we need to think about some passive power generation that runs even if we don't have lava. And then we need to think about some generation that runs with lava as a booster. But we also need power storage. We've never had power storage before. So I'm thinking that power generation via these kinetic dynamos might be the way to go. Specifically, we can make windmills, but we're underground. So I think that water wheels might be a nice way to do this. And these things are pretty simple to make. We just need to treat some wood and then make water wheel segments. And then if we look, the water wheel segments, let's see. Eventually we can think about windmills, but they need to go up high in the air. So these water wheel segments look like so. Right, and they are just more treated wood and treated sticks. So why don't we go ahead and grab a whole bunch of this stuff here. Let's grab a stack of 16, and then let's make some treated planks. So let's just drag these around here and make a stack of treated wood planks. There. That probably is enough for now. We'll make more as we need it, because we definitely have enough. I don't think we can make the sticks into treated sticks directly, although that would be pretty useful too. And let's go ahead and make those segments. So we need, let's see, so let's take maybe 16 of these, make a bunch of treated sticks, and then there we are. So we should be able to make some water wheels with this now. So we can go ahead and just take those and put those around treated planks like so. And this should make 3 water wheels for us. Ta-da! There we go. That's the most we can make at any one point in time. So then let me go ahead. We need to make, it says a flux coil. We'll need to make, I think, 2. Because, well, no, we'll need just 1 for now. So we need to get some redstone, a copper wire coil, and some iron. Let's go grab that. So what we're going to do is basically set up these water wheels to turn around this coil, and then that should make for us a fair amount of stuff. But while we're up here, let's go ahead and make the other stuff that we need too. So let me just make that copper wire coil. There we go. While we're at it, we're going to need to get water, but I'm really tired of chucking around water, and I don't want to waste my mana on something so simple as that. So why don't we go ahead and grab one of our extra blank slates. I'll grab a bunch of water buckets, and we'll make this really fast, because this should be really straightforward for us. There we are. Water sigil. Right-clicking that to us will bind it. Let me just go over here, and we can see here. There we go. Uses our LP power, our blood power. Not very much of it, too. It's only 100, and that makes water for us. Cool, right? I think that'll be pretty useful since we're going to be making water wheels. We don't need to carry around all these buckets anymore. We just have water on demand. Of course, can't pick up water that way, but, should be fine. Toss those in. Let's head down. Now, we're going to need some place to put this, and I guess down here is actually not a bad place to put a power plant. Hopefully we won't run into any inconveniently placed caverns, but I think it'll be fine. And this area is pretty rich in copper and tin, so exposing more of those will be cool too. But we can just go ahead and... Ooh, look. Amber. Cool. Go ahead and set this up really straightforwardly, I think. But, of course, it will take a little bit of time to dig. 1 sec. Right, I think that we can do something like this and just toss that right there. See, I've got a kinetic dynamo there. Now, we should be able to take our water wheels and just, connect them. I don't know if we need a little bit more room for them. I kind of don't know exactly the size of these things. So we need to make a little bit of room. We'll have to experiment a bit. Maybe just one more area in back. So it turns out we can even kind of stack these like so. So now we've actually got 3 connected to 1. So now all we have to do is maybe just take some... Let's see, how will we make this look? Because we'd like it to look nice. Not great, but at least acceptably nice. Right, and we can go ahead and cut right through here. We just need to get water up there to flow down here, and we need to make sure that it has somewhere to go, because we don't want it spilling and washing away all of our altar powering foliage. And besides, a mess of water is just not something we want. It's not tidy, and that's one thing that we would do like to be sometimes, is tidy. So we'll come back through here, and I think we'll kind of clean this up in terms of the block look. Once we can more effectively build, like right now, I'm like have to hop or spend a lot of blood, or I don't know. It's not the best, but we can go like this. All right, there we go. I got water flowing over the top of it, and it's pulling down, and I kind of just closed all this area. We'll replace this with a more beautiful material as soon as we have an easier way to replace it. We'll come back and fix this up. But for now, this is just sort of, scaffolded out, see what we can do with it. Now, we're going to need some stuff to actually move the power out of this dynamo and into a storage. We're going to need some storage. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at what we need to do for this. So we're generating power. What we need to do is get some wiring. Now, for that, we're going to need copper wire, which I have a bunch left over from the creation of the coils. And then we're going to need what looks to be some energy, like some connection points. Connectors, they're called. And that's what these look like. So this is hardened clay and other stuff. So hardened clay is just clay that we bake, right? I think so. Yeah. Yeah, hardened clay is just baked clay. So let's go bake some clay and then mix that with some copper, and then we'll be able to take this out. And we also need a capacitor to store this power. So an LV capacitor is not very difficult to make. In fact, it's just copper, a little bit of lead, iron, and a couple other things. So let's just hop back up here and let's go ahead and make a group of these connectors so that we can actually store this power. All right, I think I got it all set up. We've got some LV wire connectors and an LV capacitor. So let's go downstairs and hook this up. And once we have this power, then we can start to think about things like moving our inventory downstairs, making this large cavern more defensible against interlopers, etc. So I think the first thing we got to do is take one of these and just snap it on right there. That looks pretty cool. And then we'd like to have our capacitor somewhere near here. It just needs to be close enough so that we could hang a little strand of wire, and have the wire come out. So why don't we put that right here, right? And we can just, I don't know, put some treated wood underneath to make it look like it's on a little stand. How's that? That looks pretty cool. It meshes quite nicely. Okay, and then what we need to do is, I guess we could break this for the moment, right? We actually need to make a hammer. I believe I already have made one, but we need to be able to tell, like many blocks, this guy here, engineer's hammer, needs to understand input and output. So if we whack this guy with the hammer, there we go. You can see it is an input because it's blue, and then orange is the output. So we go bip. There we are. So you just kind of like kick it. Shift clicking affects the other side. So now we can put one of these here, and then one of these here, and then we can just connect them with a little bit of wire, like so. Linking, and then boom. So now we've actually like stranded up some wire. How cool is that? That looks really neat. And now you can see that this is gradually, if we look up in the up top, you can see that's gradually filling up with RF. We could tell because of our tinkling spider sense, I suppose. And this doesn't store a ton of power, but it stores power, and that's more than we've ever had before, and we'll improve it. This is a kind of a starter set, low power. We can actually do all sorts of neat stuff with this. For example, let's take a look at our book. There's all sorts of really fun things we can do, like with basic wiring. Like we can mount this up on fence posts and things like that to kind of like draw networks and things like that. We can also make these really cool, let's see, we can make like these second stage things. Let me see if I can pull them up. Like these wooden wall mounts and all sorts of cool things. And they can, kind of like handle your connectors and things like that. So we've got a nice setup right here. So let's just say we wanted to solve that problem we were having earlier, specifically the problem with not having any form of cooking down here. We want to be able to like cook stone and stuff like that. So why don't we go ahead and use this power to cook some stone, and then we'll we'll say that we've got a basic power plant going, and then we'll probably hook up the other system to the back of this as well. And we need some way to visualize this power, because this is definitely thing. And this power doesn't seem like a lot of power, so it's not going super fast, but that's fine. It's passive. It doesn't cost us anything. We'll be able to handle it. Let's see. What could we do? We could make an external heater, and this is just copper wire, more copper wire coil, and some iron and copper. Let's go make that really quick.